Zoom. Welcome to our session one on curriculum and innovation of the sixth regional conference on promoting world-class education. Now, we will now be witnessing the presentation by Ms. Fatilin Oray from Doña Mercedes Elementary School for session one.
which is the after, using correlation coefficient and ANOVA. And based from the findings, there is really significant difference from in terms of contain sufficient learning activities from F to O, clarity of visuals to details from 2.52 to 4.82, and layout 2.30 to 4.18, which is very satisfactory. Results of the assessment shows that there is really a significant improvement from the existing to the proposed. Based from the results of the assessment, feedback from the teachers can also attest to the significant improvement of the proposed LM from the existing one. In terms of layout, according to them, learners will be more interested if pictures are colored. Colored pictures will arouse pupils' interest. Pictures were not colored but clear and suitable for pupils' age. The researcher opt to black and white for the sake of or ease for the production of the LM. Clarity of visuals to details. As supported by table 12 and 13, the enhanced LM has clearer visuals and that its attention to details was addressed. They also acknowledge the presence of pictures and illustrations that accompanied the stories, poems, and other literatures in the LM, since some stories, poems, and other literatures did not contain pictures or any visuals. So some teacher jurors said that the pictures and other details are clear and that the pictures used can help the pupils visualize the ideas, topics it is trying to convey, since grade 2 pupils or the primary pupils are very visual learners. Contain sufficient learning activities. Activities are sufficient and are suitable to the learners. The activities were varied for pupils. The enhanced contextualized LM contains sufficient learning activities suitable to the learners and the target competencies. Activities are suited to the learners. So, what are my recommendations? The existing Bicol Ginubatan contextualized learners material in Mother Tongue 2 is very satisfactory. But then again, there are three weaknesses which can be improved. The existing Bicol Ginubatan contextualized learners material in Mother Tongue 2 have more strengths than weaknesses. The proposed enhanced Bicol Ginubatan contextualized learners material focus on improving the identified weaknesses. The enhancement of the Bicol Ginubatan contextualized learners material in Mother Tongue 2 was found to be significant. The feedbacks of the teacher jurors support and observed enhancement in the enhanced learners material in Mother Tongue 2. So, recommendations. Validity test of the enhanced Bicol Ginubatan contextualized learners material in Mother Tongue 2 should be conducted by future researchers to test its effectiveness. Adjustment to the existing teacher's guide should be conducted to align it to the enhanced Bicol Ginubatan contextualized learners material in Mother Tongue 2. Approval from the regional and division education unit in accordance with national policies and standards should be requested prior to the distribution of the enhanced Bicol Ginubatan contextualized learners material in Mother Tongue 2. Lastly, a similar study should be conducted in other districts to adapt the learner's material to the learner's dialect or mother tongue and to improve the existing LMs available to better suited to the language environment and needs of the learners. This study is a great example of the collaboration among teachers in improving existing materials for it to suit the needs and aid in the teaching and learning process. So here are my references, books, dissertations, journals, and other internet resources. I hope this research can serve as reference or guide for future researchers. Again, I am Fatilinti Oraye, teacher 3, and if you wish to contact me, you can do that, or you can message me at my email fatilintoraye@gmail.com. That's all. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Leslie Ann de Guzman Monje, a senior high school teacher 2 at La Purisima National High School, La Purisima, Nabua, Camarines Sur. For this day, I will be discussing about my research entitled Interactive Collaborative Activities in Earth Science for Senior High School. So to start, here is the introduction. So we know that education pays the best investment in a society where competition exists in a wide range of opportunities. In fact, many of us believe that education is the passport to quality life, a key to one's success. When one is educated, he or she is assured of economic stability in the future. And we know that education is a never-ending process of learning, relearning, and unlearning. In response, the Philippine government continuously seeks to support the educational needs of the Filipino learners. So the DepEd implemented Republic Act 10533, or we commonly known as the K-12 curriculum. So there is a need for a curricular reform. And one of the core subjects in senior high school, science is given greater emphasis by the educational system because of the fact that science obtained low level of performance not only on national but also on local. So if the student's foundation in science during the lower years is poor, it will be hard for him or her to accustom to the science teaching in senior high school, making it hard to meet the needs of globalization in terms of science and technology. This stated also in Article 14, Section 10 of the 1987 Philippine Constitution, where science and technology is given emphasis or focus. It is said that science and technology is essential for national development and progress. So the government is concerned mostly to our teachers that we need to employ different pedagogies to increase learners' competence. However, we are used to or accustomed to the lecture discussion or the traditional method, which is not appropriate to all kinds of learners. So we need to differentiate because learners today are more active and hands-on than before. The former Secretary of Department of Education, Secretary Gonzales, said that we should focus on in the science class that is not memorization of facts and scientific content but training in the process of inquiry and discovery. Thus, there is a felt need for the teachers to practice activities and modern procedures that will draw the students' interest and improve their cognitive activities.
My capacity as a science teacher
Is concerned on how to improve the students' knowledge and proficiency using this interactive, collaborative teaching. In doing so, the learners of today will be ready to face the 21st century environment. Our research problem are as follows. The study aims to develop and validate the interactive collaborative activities in teaching earth science. So it sought to answer number 1, what interactive collaborative activities in earth science can be developed and validated. So it is the very aim of the research to develop an activity that is engaging to our students. Number 2, what are the pre-test and post-test mean scores in earth science using interactive collaborative teaching and traditional approach? Third one, is there a significant difference between the pre-test and post-test mean scores in the control and experimental group? So Section A is said to be the experimental group and Section B is said to be the control group. Number 4 question, what enhanced interactive collaborative activities can be made based from the findings of the study? Now for our theoretical paradigm. This study was rooted from the three important theories, namely David Kolb's experiential learning style theory, Jean Piaget's theory of constructivism, and Rogers' experimental learning theory. So Kolb's experiential learning style theory states that learning is a process whereby knowledge is created through the transformation of experience. So what's the connection of the model to the study and use of interactive collaborative activities? The teacher, as a facilitator, will first let the students explore through various activities that are related to the specific topic, followed by an explanation that will enhance student learning. And this refers to the feedbacking of the experience activity that leaves an important impression to the learning of the students. The third one is when the students form a general understanding of the occurrence of the experience they have, and lastly, applying the knowledge they already have if another same or familiar experience will come. Then we have Piaget's constructivism learning theory. This is a philosophy which enhances students' logical and conceptual growth. This underlying concept within the constructivism learning theory is the role which experience or connections with the adjoining atmosphere play in students' education, and the discouraging of the passive way of gaining knowledge in which is in line with the present study. Now we have Rogers' experimental learning theory. Considers the educator as a facilitator and successful facilitating. As a result of the aforementioned theories, it provides the framework of the present study named active learning theory. It suggests that learners acquire more knowledge through various activities provided by the teacher that serve as a facilitator. So for the conceptual framework, my study adopts the system approach, which illustrates the interaction of three important elements, which are the input, process, and output. And at the same time, I also have the feedback loop mechanism, which also plays an important role in the framework. Let's start with the input. The input of this study refers to the preparation of the topics to be included in the interactive collaborative activities in earth science for senior high school students that is based from the curriculum guide given by the Department of Education. Next is the process. This refers to the conduct of the pre-test, giving of the treatment, which is the giving of the interactive collaborative approach, and conduct of post-test to both the controlled and experimental group. Then we have the output. The output is based from the findings and result of the study that is an enhanced interactive collaborative activity in science will be prepared. Lastly, we have the feedback loop mechanism. This mechanism is a process of continuous improvement of the output of the study. So here presented is the research methodology. So research design, I made use of the experimental method to determine the data needed in the investigation. So experimental method of research was employed by me to determine the achievement of the students in the pre-test and post-test. My control and experimental groups were GAS A class and GAS B class respectively. So the control group was taught using the traditional teaching and the experimental group with the interactive collaborative teaching. Now, how did I prepare for the interactive collaborative activities? So it is divided into two, the primary phase and the secondary phase. Let us first focus on the primary phase. In the primary phase, the start of the stage of making of the activity is composed of searching of topics in earth science for grade 11 in the curriculum guide given by the DepEd. So developing of the interactive collaborative activities is done, and also a curricular validation is made. So what topics are included? It is adapted from the K-12 basic education curriculum for senior high school curriculum guide. The topics are origin and structure of the earth and earth's materials and processes. The activities in the materials was outsourced and patterned from the suggested interactive and innovative teaching strategies, a resource book for 21st century teachers by Dr. Milagros Limborabo and Dr. Heidi Grace Limborabo. Now we have the curricular validation. The curricular validation of the prepared activities was evaluated by three experienced science teachers of La Purísima National High School and by the teachers from a private sector. A questionnaire was employed throughout the validation. To determine the curricular validity of the said activities, a questionnaire was employed and given to the science teachers Now, we have the secondary phase. What is the objective of this phase? It is to determine the effect of the said activity for senior high school students. The phase includes constructing the test items through the use of the Table of Specification or TOS, conducting the pre-test and post-test itself, administering the experiment, and scoring the test. Statistical tools used in the study are the following: the weighted mean and the t-test. Why weighted mean? The weighted mean employed to determine the average of the result of the curricular validation of the interactive collaborative activities evaluated by science teachers. Then, why t-test? The t-test for correlated sample is used when comparing the means. Now we have the result. For number 1, the interactive collaborative activities in earth science for senior high school developed curricularly valid for having obtained an average weighted mean of 4.20, which is interpreted as very much valid. So what is included in the set results of curricular validation for the activity? So the criteria are subject matter, social cultural content, language readability, activities, and strategies. The second result, pre-test and post-test results of the control group and experimental group. The pre-test was administered to the controlled and experimental group to find out the entry competence in the earth science of the students before any treatment is given. The control group was exposed to traditional teaching approach, while the experimental group with interactive collaborative activities. The mean scores of the control and experimental group in the pre-test and post-test. The mean score of the control group in the pre-test is 18.26, while in the experimental group it's 20.02. It shows the result of the post-test of both the control and experimental groups, where the control group earned a mean score of 19.91, while the experimental group obtained a mean score of 27.35. So it means that comparing the pre-test and post-test mean scores of the control, there is an increase of 1.56, while the experimental group increase was 7.44. The results led to the conclusion that the two groups improved their science concept and skills, but it is evident that the experimental group performed better than the control group. The interactive collaborative activities in earth science for senior high school would help enhance students' conceptual understanding in the subject. Here are the following conclusions drawn from the findings of the study. So in line with number 1 result, conclusion, the material is curricularly valid, appropriate, and aligned to the content requirements of grade 11. In line with the number 2 findings, the conclusion is the pre-test and post-test mean score of the experimental group were higher than the control group. Hence, the interactive collaborative teaching is effective in enhancing the conceptual understanding and science process skills of the student. Then, we have number 3 conclusion, which is also in line with the number 3 findings. The pre and post-test results of the control and experimental group vary significantly. The mean score of the experimental group is higher than the is also in line with the question, with the findings, and with the result. So number 1, the interactive collaborative activities in earth science for senior high school students may be used as a teaching material to enhance the students' conceptual understanding and mastery of science concept. When using experimental research method, the researcher should establish the homogeneity or the control group and experimental group so that the study would arrive at a valid and reliable result. For number 3, the traditional teaching method is effective in the teaching learning process, but the use of the interactive collaborative teaching makes the teaching method more effective. For number 4, the interactive collaborative activities in earth science for senior high school students can be used as a material. A material to what? To enhance the teaching learning process. But at the end, there is no specific teaching method that will fit to all students' needs. So, this is not a one-size-fits-all case. So our students varied, our students are unique individuals, so we need also to use differentiation. It is still in the creativity, the versatility, and skills of a teacher that will make every classroom discussion a success. So with regard to the use of teaching material, the teacher can use other teaching materials from other sources aside from what is presented. So that's all. Thank you very much. Here are the references. For the books, for the journals, periodicals, and papers, for the internet materials. So once again, I am Leslie Anne Guzman Monjes, Senior High School Teacher 2 at La Purisima, Nabua, Camarines Sur.
Thank you and more power.
Okay, thank you very much to our research presenters this afternoon. So, for those who have just joined us this afternoon via Facebook, live streaming, and Zoom, our research presenters this afternoon, we would like to thank them. We have Mr. Ray Mark Basagre from the Central Bicol State University of Agriculture. We also have Dr. Aris Perez from Bicol University College of Education. We have Mr. Dick Anthony Calya from Legazpi City Science High School, Miss Fateline Oraya from Doña Mercedes Elementary School, and of course, Miss Leslie Ann Monge from La Purisima National High School. Now, at this juncture, we would be entertaining questions from the audience. For your questions, if you have questions, you can type it in our chat box so that we can relay it to our research presenters. Do you have any questions that we can present with regards to the presentations, the research presented by our researchers this afternoon? If you have questions with regards to the presentations made by our research presenters, you can type it in our chat box so that we can read it and our presenters can answer your queries. Okay, so while waiting for you to formulate your questions, I would like to give my question, and I would like to throw it to Dr. Aris Perez with regards to his study about touch what you teach, the use of an iPad-based ebook game in teaching English among public junior high school students. Sir, this is just a follow up question. I think based on, if we are going to look at the demography of users of iPads and mobile phones in the Philippines, around 83.64. That's from Statista.com. Oh, sorry. Okay. Okay, sir. Based from Statista.com, as of September 2020, the statistics indicate that 83.64% of mobile users in the Philippines are using the platform of Android. And since your study is focused on iPad and it uses the iOS mobile platform, I think would there be possibility if that program that you have developed can also be integrated for the majority of mobile users in the Philippines? Say for example the Android users. Okay, so while Sir Aris is typing his reply to the question, just for the benefit of those who are not able to catch, uh, to do, those who are not able to catch Dr. Aris Perez presentation, he presented his study about the use of an iPad-based ebook game. So it specifically make use of the iOS as the mobile platform where that application can be used. So my question is there a possibility that that it can also be integrated, or it can also be used by majority of mobile users in the Philippines, considering that uh, mo- around 83.64 of mobile users in the Philippines use the Android platform? Okay, so here's the response of Sir Aris. Allow me to read it for those who are in the Facebook live streaming. Yes, there is, but as of the moment, the two-man team who developed it are working hard to port it in Windows and other platforms. Hence, for now, teachers can only take advantage of the HyperPad via the iOS. So there you have it. There is the possibility that those who are relying or using the Android mobile platform can also make use of the ebook game developed by, as mentioned in the study of Sir Aris Perez. Thank you very much, sir. From the audience, do you have any questions, queries you would like to ask from our esteemed researchers this afternoon? Okay, so my additional Sir Aris. So what I did was to use the wireless approach via one is to many approach, wherein even if the teacher only has the iPad, this can still work. So that is being flexible. Di ba? Kasi not everyone can, especially now that we are in the flexible learning part of the of because we're in a pandemic. We would like to maximize whatever resources we have so that we can still impart what we need to impart to our students. Okay, so can entertain one more question from the audience. Would you have some more questions? If you have questions, you can type it in the chat box before we have our session 2 this afternoon. Okay, so as you can see, earlier we have a technical glitch. I think that would be now part of the new normal, since considering na we are delivering a flexible learning approach in learning. I think we should be all accustomed to. Sabi nga kanina ni Ma'am Becky dun sa presentation niya this morning, if you were able to watch it, it's technically hindi siya matatawag natin na needs improvement. Dapat nandun yung growth mindset natin, na we always have to look forward to something that can make us grow personally in our professionally as well. So thank you very much, Sir Aris, for answering the question. For the information of everyone, Sir Aris is not feeling well, so although he was not feeling well, he was able to join us in our webinar this afternoon. So at this point, we will now be proceeding to the session 2 of our research conference. Session 2 will be about the pedagogy and perspectives in learning and teaching. So again, let's now watch the video presentations of the researchers for session 2.
A pleasant day to everyone. I am Miss Carissa S. Matusinas from Manislag National High School, and I will be presenting the outcome of our study entitled Instructional Practices on the Integration of Global Citizenship Education in English in Elementary and Secondary Levels under the project title Mainstreaming Global Citizenship Education, the case of Bicol University. This presentation includes the brief background on the study, objectives, framework, methodology, discussion, and conclusion in that order. The context of this research is global citizenship education. UNESCO actively helped to frame the Education 2030 Agenda, which is encapsulated in Sustainable Development Goal number 4. It ensures inclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Global citizenship education is necessary because of the interconnected and interdependent nature of the current world. GSED aims to instill in learners the values, attitudes, and behaviors that support the responsible global citizenship. Thus, the study aimed to integrate GCED in English curriculum. Specifically, this study aimed to achieve the following objectives. Number one, identify the good instructional practices in global citizenship integration in elementary and secondary level. And number two, to identify GCED themes showing global citizenship integration in elementary and secondary level. For methodology, this study made use of mixed methods of descriptive and evaluative methods. Sources of the data are the elementary and the secondary teachers and students of Bicol University. Observations, responses to the interviews, FGDs, and documentation of all the activities during the summer enrichment classes in English were conducted to identify the good instructional practices and themes in the global citizenship education. FAO 2016 defines good practice as successful experience that has been tested and validated, has been repeated and deserves to be shared so that a great number of people can adopt it. In this particular study, practices refers to specific ways of doing or strategies in mainstreaming of GCED in Bicol University in elementary and secondary levels. The context-specific practices apply only to the academe or to the educational setting. Areas which influence the teaching and learning process in English education are instructional materials, instructional strategies or the delivery of the lesson, interaction with students, and assessment. Good practices in this study were noted or observed as facilitative of the learning process related to the integration of GCED in sample lessons in English courses. For the results and discussion, Table 1 shows the good instructional practices in the global citizenship education in elementary and secondary levels, showing 4 areas which influence the teaching and learning process and the specific good practices observed in each area. For instructional materials, specific good practices observed were 1. Session plans are critiqued and validated. So these session plans are based on validated curriculum guide on GCED integration. Number 2, the use of ICT-based materials such as PowerPoint presentation and videos facilitate the GCED integration. And last, using materials dealing on real phenomena, local and global, serves as a relevant and timely springboard for English lessons. Specific good practices observed in the area of instructional strategies are using varied strategies encourage active learning, thus encourages students' participation. So among these strategies used were image analysis, video analysis, collaborative learning, phenomenon-based learning, use of authentic task, reflective learning, and active learning. Likewise, the GCED concept or principle focus blended well with the phenomena or with the featured phenomenon. In terms of interaction with students, these are the specific good practices observed. Students are actively involved with the class activities. Teachers provide adequate time for interaction among the learners with the teacher. And last, students are provided with ample time to clarify, ask questions, and relate to discussion, either real life or real experience situations. With regard to the assessment, these are the specific good practices observed. 1. Performance assessment tasks actively involve the learners. 2. Authentic assessment tasks, either individual, pair, or group, are aligned to the target competencies. And number 3, Different assessment task addresses students' diversity. For the result and discussion for Objective 2, Table 2 shows the themes of GSED integration in elementary and secondary level. The recurring themes are developing care and concern for the environment, valuing peace and concern, valuing peace and freedom and empathy, equality, and respect for diversity. So from this study, these are the key points, and thus these conclusions are formed. Number one, teachers in elementary and secondary levels employed various instructional practices in integrating GSED concepts. Practices that were noted or observed as facilitative are considered as good practices. And number two, themes of the integration of GSED in elementary and secondary levels help learners acquire skills, knowledge, attitude that contribute to a more inclusive, just, and peaceful world. So these are the significant findings of our study. To end, to end the presentation, Ban Ki-moon, the former UN Secretary General, once said that education gives us a profound understanding that we are tied together as citizens of the global community and that our challenges are interconnected. Thank you very much for listening.
A spectacular day to the participants of the 6th Regional Conference on Promoting World-Class Education running from March 15 to 16, 2021, sponsored by no less than Bicol University. Allow me to present my study entitled Assessment of Project Stylus in the Elementary Schools in the City Division of Ligao. I am Brian E. Novio. Campus journalism has been well evidenced by the proactive participation of teachers, parents, and other stakeholders along journalistic excellence, which serve as an important platform in the development of ideas in the past, present, and future society. Journalism is deemed to be an innovation that covers the social and educational aspects of life. With this, I am presenting the very own project of Ligao National High School dubbed as Stylus. Project Stylus, or Project Shaping and Transforming the Young Scribes Through Learning and Upholding Journalistic Service to the Community, was an initiative campus journalism training activity to the elementary pupils sponsored by Ligao National High School through its school paper advisors. The main proponent was the researcher himself, and the project targeted to extend the knowledge and skills of campus journalism in elementary schools through annual trainings led by the school's editorial board and staff. The study aimed to assess the implementation of Project Stylus in the elementary schools of the City Division of Ligao from school years 2016 to 2018. Specifically, it sought answers to the following sub-problems. First, what are the features of Project Stylus? Second, what is the quality of implementation of Project Stylus in Ligao City Division based on the CIPP model? Third, what are the strengths and weaknesses of Project Stylus in terms of the following? A. Implementation. B. Development of pupils' journalistic skills. And C. The technical content of the papers. 4. What improvements can be made to enhance and sustain Project Stylus? Presenting is the conceptual paradigm, which includes the features, the quality of implementation, the strengths and weaknesses, and the improved training program. For the features, these include objectives of the study, the choice of participants, training method, mode of delivery, collaboration of teachers, peer mentoring or coaching, the monitoring and evaluation, and the yearly description of implementation. The quality will be analyzed against the CIPP model to determine the development of journalistic skills and the content of the papers along the strengths and weaknesses of the implementation. For the theoretical paradigm, in the center is Project Stylus implemented for 3 years, which will be analyzed through system and shaping practices, achieving and learning goals by support and effort and task persistence. For the respondents, a total of 9 public elementary schools, including one private school in the city division, participated in the project for at least 2 years and were selected as the respondents of the study. The research focused on the implementation of the project based on the observation of the primary people involved, including school heads and school paper advisors. The school papers from 2016 to 2018 were evaluated using the rubrics on assessing the technical content of the paper as per the national guidelines of the Department of Education. The assessment was supported by the context, input, process, and product model or approach, or the CIPP. The researcher, together with his staff, personally went to the elementary schools, namely Ligao East Central School, Ligao West Central School, Barayong Elementary School, Mahaba Elementary School, Santa Cruz Elementary School, Paulog Elementary School, Pandan Elementary School, and Vanderpool Christian Academy, and distributed the questionnaires to the school paper advisors and conducted a one-on-one interview with the school heads. All the schools covered represented majority of the districts. Based on the responses of the school heads during the interview conducted by the researcher, they said that they received an advisory issued by the division office which made them aware of the training offered to elementary pupils. They believed that the proponents of the project, who were secondary publication advisors, were equipped with the knowledge and skills in campus paper. The school head showed support to the project because they expected that it would be very beneficial to the school performance in press conferences. They have also considered Project Stylus as a free learning avenue for beginning writers and believed that they had to take the opportunity to avail of the free training provided by it, and conveyed that they have achieved a remarkable performance in press conferences and the writing skills of their pupils have improved. Further, according to the school paper advisors, there were some aspects of the implementation that might have been overlooked or not given emphasis. The responses of the school paper advisors purported that the project should look into some aspects of the implementation for improvements, like addressing the problem in gathering or inviting their pupils to attend during weekend or summer. Time management as an important aspect to be improved was also raised during the interview. There were some journalistic skills of the pupils that improved after participating in Project Stylus. They were very thankful that the project reached out to their schools because it brought a significant improvement in the performance of their pupils along expression and of their performance as a school in press conferences and other writing tales. From the analysis and assessments done through the written outputs of the pupils in news writing, editorial writing, feature writing, science and health writing, and sports writing, the pupils improved in these events from school years 2016 to 2018. The scores of the pupils showed a remarkable progress throughout the 3-year implementation of Project Stylus. Further, the school papers were analyzed to determine if they met the needed requirements for publications as per DepEd Memorandum No. 200, Series 2017, or the National Press Conference Guidelines for School Paper Production. Ligao East Central School got a total score of 67, equivalent to 95.71%, followed by Ligao West Central Elementary School, or Poblacion, with 65 points, or 94.28%. Meanwhile, Vanderpool Christian Academy placed third with 62 points, or 92.28%, and tying are Ligao West Central Elementary School and Pandan Elementary School with 47 points or 88.36%. Santa Cruz Elementary School obtained a score of 46 or 88%. Barayong Elementary School got 45 or 87.78%. Mahaba Elementary School with 43 or 84.27%, and Paulog Elementary School with 40 or 82.75%. Now, what is the implication of this? The results of the assessment revealed that more than 75% of the total school papers assessed demonstrated a compliance with the technical content required of the school papers. It means that most of the school papers had complete sections and met the minimum requirements for the technical, content, and ethics. The papers assessed were the same publications submitted in press conferences. Schools cannot participate in school press conference without their papers and would be easily disqualified in the selection of best publications without complying with the required technical content. In terms of implementation, the school paper advisors who were given a structured questionnaire regarding the implementation of Project Stylus assessed that it was implemented excellently. The school heads and school paper advisors during the interview demonstrated a positive feedback towards its implementation. Now, after careful analysis and assessment, the following are recommended. First, Project Stylus should focus on campus journalism topics and scope that are least mastered by the pupils. Enhancing the features of the project will help the project sustain its implementation and continue to promote literacies in writing. Second, Project Stylus should extend the days of conducting the training, since there is a possibility that the number of participants will grow. It should also extend its implementation even to the schools from remote and coastal areas in Ligao City so that all elementary schools will benefit from the project. Third, Project Stylus should also include in the training matrix the least mastered skills in journalistic writing not tackled in the previous years. Other events in campus journalism should be added in the next implementation. Project Stylus should also use the training sessions in school paper production so that the pupils progressively learn the crafting of their very own papers. The technical content of school papers should be one of the emphasis for the next implementation. Project Stylus should be extended to other secondary schools as well in Ligao City Division so that they will be the initial implementers of the project to the elementary schools near them. Facilitators of Project Stylus may train other secondary schools in conducting the training so that they will be the ones to provide to the schools not accessible to the original proponents of the project. This way, the project will be improved and sustained for a longer period of time. Now, I'm presenting the snapshots of the training conducted for 3 years. As you can see, the students actively participated with hands-on activities that will surely develop their journalistic skills. And here are the references of my study. And here are my contact details. Thank you so much for actively participating in the 6th Regional Conference on Promoting World-Class Education sponsored by Bicol University. I wish you well and have a great day. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I'm Miss Janine Sibore, and I'll be presenting my study entitled Teaching Biology Using Contextualized Learning Kit. To give you an overview of this research, students learn better if they have student-friendly reading material and performed hands-on and minds-on activities, and also integrating flipped classroom methodology helped the teacher facilitate the class well, and the students have more time doing student-centered activities that helped deepen their comprehension. According to Gardner in 1999, although we all receive these intelligences as part of our birthright, no two people have exactly the same intelligences and the same combinations. In this respect, learners differ in many ways. Some are fast and slow learners. However, this doesn't mean that slow learners are non-learners. That is why, according to the research of Perrin in 2011, there is a need to contextualize the lesson, to engage students in class discussions and activities, deepen content learning, and promote transfer of skill. And researchers have been conducting the flipped classroom as a teaching method. The teachers gave educational materials for the students to study at home, and during class hours, they talked about it, and student-centered activities were given to students which are related to that educational materials. And the 21st century skills development are communication, critical thinking, collaboration, and creativity are very important or crucial in the success of the student's academic performance. According to the research of Clark in 2006, students preferred visual and verbal presentations of the lesson. Hence, in this study, I made highly visual and highly conversational instructional material. To identify the two groups, I disseminated the validated pretest to 4 sections in grade 8 handled by the teacher implementer. The results of each section were subjected to independent sample t-test to determine the two groups whose score had no significant difference. This means that the ability of two groups are almost the same or equally the same. Then, the two groups having no significant difference were randomly assigned by tossing a coin to determine the experimental and control group.